How y'all doing? Here's Daisy Doodle. Hi, Daisy Doodle. What you up to? You being a good girl? Hers, of course, a good girl. She's a good girl most of the time. Gotta be honest. She's a good girl. It's Saturday morning. If I had a TV, I'd be watching cartoons. I'm not gonna lie. You like my hair? I'm loving it. It's bed hair. I did a whole video from Sedona, showing mesas and downtown and talking about what's going on, and I had it on mute, so it was just me going, and of course it's not worth anything now. So anyway, it's Saturday morning and we're hanging out, and I haven't taken a shower or anything yet. I'm just sitting here in bed and just really focusing on 1 Corinthians 7. I'm thinking about it and also looking at videos this morning, just kind of perusing YouTube, looking for videos on singleness, Christian singleness, which is a whole different cup of tea. And you know what I found? I found a bunch of videos on how to cope with singleness, how to become married, how to have hope, how to prepare for marriage, how to attract the opposite sex, on and on. And something I feel so strongly about that even though I only have a few people that watch this, it's people that care about me. So I just, I remember when I was about 31 or 2, I had gotten out of active duty Army, and I don't know how many times I dated married men not knowing it while in the military, and just really at that moment desiring to be married so bad, and as a woman feeling that that clock ticking on how long you have before you can have kids, and it's still healthy to have kids. And I remember coming home and just having this epiphany. Like, I had chased men, I had let men pursue me through the years, and I have never had one good experience, not one. So I've fallen in love several times, and jaded, unrequited love. I did that one a couple times. That was fun. Married a guy that wasn't a Christian, or dated a guy that wasn't a Christian. That ended not so good. And so, as anybody that's really close to me knows, I often talk about dating is like playing a slot machine, and I have put quarters in this machine my whole life and have yet to win even a small bit of money back. It's just chucking money, chucking quarters, and in hopes that I'll get a different response. And through the years I've had, where dieting and what I wear and how I behave was just totally focused on trying to find a mate. And I've gone through times where I just read books on tricks for dating, giving up dating, courting instead, all this stupid nonsense. And really just leaning back on the concept, well, there isn't a lot to go on in the Bible for us singles. It's, well, there is actually. 1 Corinthians 7, like I brought up the other day, it's, it said don't pursue it. Don't pursue marriage. If you're burning and you can't stay out of sin, then go for it. If you're already married, do that. And if you can't control yourself, get married. And if you're single, stay that way if you can. And I always thought that was such a slap in the face because I didn't want to be single. And how is that helpful? And I don't know, I almost saw it as an option instead of, if I believe it's the Word of God and it's God breathed, then it's truth. And that's what it says in 1 Corinthians. And so I remember when I was 31, 32, got out of the military, back to that, I just got on this kick. And I had she's since passed away, but I told my one of my closest friends, I was like, listen, I've given up the idea of getting married ever. And I have laid that down and given it to the Lord, and I'm assuming it'll never ever be resurrected. Like, I'm killing it. I'm putting it on the altar for God and like killing it. And if a miracle happens and somebody comes along, awesome. If not, I'm not pursuing it ever again. I'm never going to make it a focus. I'm not going to make it the reason why I get up, the reason why I fix my hair a certain way, the reason why I pick certain clothes, the reason why I force myself to go out into public and I don't feel like it, or, the reason to, I've had a lot of friends that were like, it's Friday night, we have to go out, we're single. It's like, it's almost like mandatory. We're both tired, but we got to do it. And it wasn't out of fun, let me tell you that. It was work. And I remember, she's not on YouTube with me, so I feel at privy to say it, but like the other day I went out and ate with a friend, and she was like, oh, I'm just dying for some wings. I was like, well, get some. And she was like, oh no, there's too many men out here, I don't want them to see me eating wings, and it might get messy. I'm like, and that's how a lot of women think, like everything is for the catch. And I am so sick of playing the catch game and never catching. Like, the people that I attract are extremely old. They're already married. I attract people, but it's nothing that I want to have anything to do with. And at this age, I'm past childbearing years, like, let's be honest. I mean, it can physically be done, but it's getting dangerous. I'm getting to the point where I'm old enough where it's dangerous. It comes with risks, high risks. And so I've had to like give that up. And then, I've had people say, you don't understand how it is to be barren. Yeah, I do. I'm barren. I've always been barren. And on top of that, I've had no one that was interested in even trying to have kids with me. So put that in your hat and whatever. So, anyway, it sounds really negative what I'm saying, but really it's not. So when I was that age, in my 30s, I felt a liberation that I have never felt before. Like a freedom that was inexplicable. It was amazing. And, I lost that through the years. I got desperate again and concerned, and am I ever going to meet anybody? And though that icky, like, fearful hope, it's fear and hope mixed. It's not just hope. It's kind of icky. It's kind of gross. Got a hold of me again, and then that anxiousness flooded in. And as a Christian, Philippians, it speaks pretty clear about anxiety, that we're to be anxious for nothing. And with everything, trust the Lord, and with much prayer and supplication, give everything to the Lord. And basically trust Him. And so I learned how to do that as a single person in my 30s. And I remember telling people, my loved ones around me, especially my friends that were single, they were like, we don't know what kind of a cult that you have joined, but it's unhealthy and it's scary, and and they saw it as such a bad thing. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm on the other side. I'm happy. You're still anxious. You're still really pursuing something hard that's not happening. Like, you don't understand. And on top of that, the bonus was, which I had to keep in check, is like, when you have that attitude, I've never been asked out on more dates than I was when I was just like, I do not care. And not in a rude way, but like, I just gave up. I just gave up on that. Surrendered it, I think is a better word. Gave up sounds pitiful. It's not that I gave up. I surrendered it. It was a letting go. And I've just had a refresh of that sensation this past week. I have dealt with some really awful men this week, which only kind of triggered my mind to think about, when I was in my 30s again, like remembering that happiness that I found and dealing with men in such a better way, a healthier way, because I wasn't asking or wanting anything from any male, like, and assuming I wouldn't get it. And, this week I've been, dismissed at work by doctors, and that very doctor turned around and flirted with a young nurse and gave her exactly what she requested, and then I got nothing. And I'm older and gray and overweight and whatever, and it was the last nail in the coffin, really. I was just like, what am I, like, I was so hurt, and I'm like, ooh, she's prettier, and he was flirting, and I was like, what am I doing? Anyway, long story very short, I'm really back on the wagon with, being liberated from the idea of marriage. Whatever God brings along is okay with me. And I was reading Hebrews 11 also this morning, and that there's a list in Hebrews 11. It starts in verse 8, I think, and it's talking about the faith. It's the faith chapter, and it's talking about how Abraham went to, God told him to go somewhere and didn't tell him where. He just started the journey. He's like, go, and I'll tell you where to go. And in faith, he went to the promised land or whatever. So anyway, do we have that kind of faith with God now? That we can trust him through a whole life of singleness, even if we never get what we want? Never. Because that's possible. A lot of those people in that list in Hebrews, they waited their whole life for, a word of the Lord that they got never came to pass while they were still breathing. But they believed it their whole life because they knew God was behind that. And they literally were believing for further generations, not their own. And that's how I feel with this. Like, do I or do I not have enough faith to trust that singleness is what I'm called to until further notice, or until I die, to be single? And I can tell you, I didn't find one Christian video out there that said anything of the type. I tried so many different sentences and words to pull up Christian single videos, and half of the videos were of single people given tips on being hopeful and how to attract, and the other half were Christian married people trying to tell us what's wrong with us, which I find is offensive, really offensive. And I forgive them. I got to get over it. But for anyone that's out there that's got somebody that's single in their life, which I know you do, because the numbers are only going up, they're not going down, for how many people are staying single, whether they like it or not, in this world. Just injecting false hope into someone, oh, your time will come, or telling them one story after another about, how, well, so-and-so was your age, and look at them now, they just got married, they found their love of their life. Oftentimes those stories are not helpful. They feel very condemning, believe it or not. But I just really remembered how happy I was in my 30s. Just letting it go. And just trusting God. And being okay with not getting what you want I think so many times Christians nowadays, we think in some form or fashion, if we do the right stuff, we're going to get what we want. And that is not true. Paul did not want to be stoned. Paul didn't want to be shipwrecked. He didn't want any of those things. But he wanted to serve God. And that stuff came along with it. And perhaps singleness is what comes along with me serving the Lord. And just, I tell you what, the anxiousness that comes with being single melts away when you give up. Just give up. It sounds so pitiful, but it's not. It's the other side of it's the side of victory, to surrender to the Lord and then actively make your life count in whatever God has got you doing. And so anyway, this is just a not a rambling, because this is, I think, poignant information for anyone that's single, for anyone that has single people, like, and this is not something I haven't said before, but it's just on my mind again this morning as I'm sitting here in my apartment, just kind of vegging out this morning. It's spring break, so I'm sure everything's going to be packed, so I'm just like kind of chilling, because I was going to get a hotel and everything in Sedona yesterday, but it's just packed with young people, and there's a waiting list everywhere because this is a vacation spot. So I went downstairs, had a cup of coffee, had my cappuccino in front of a fireplace outside, and watched the sun as it rose up in the sky, and I'm just making the best of it. I have 6 shifts left here, and then I'm going to pack up. And oftentimes with my time off, I get out a calendar, and I just, for 2 days, I really sweat and toil over making a calendar. This is who I'm going to visit. And I think I'm not going to do that this time. Like, the timeline was difficult for me, and it really gave me a lot of hiccups in, I found I need to stay here longer because I needed to get this, and this done. But I'm supposed to be here by this date because I told so-and-so I'd be there. And so some of the people that I'm going to see, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants a little bit, which is okay. I can get a hotel. I don't want to be to disrupt anyone's life. So if I want to go see somebody, I'll just, play it by ear, because it's like it's like a job when you're off work, trying to plan with everyone else's schedule. And also, you have to take in consideration that I'm away from my home base, which is legally it's Missouri, which means I have to get a lot of stuff done. When I go home, we've got licensing of vehicles and taxes, and there's a whole myriad of things that you have to get done and squared away before you take off again, because when you live nomadically, there's a lot of things that you have to work through and make sure there's certain loopholes you have to use to make everything legal, with mailing addresses and state of residency, etc. So, anyway, I'm just going to try to keep ooh, that hair is just awful. I'm going to keep that schedule open, and look how cute she is. Look at that, her scratching her nose. Oh my gosh. She's so precious. She's so cute. Anyway, that's what's going on today. I'm going to buy a tire pump because my bicycle's been sitting like that for, 3 weeks. I haven't ridden it because the tires are flat. They go flat really quick on those high-end bikes. Every 2 weeks you have to pump them up, or actually every week it's supposed to be. But anyway, I've unpacked my clothes on the suitcase on the floor. Have yet to put them away. Kind of a mess. But yeah, I just hope that this video, if you have anybody, if there's anyone that that's single, man, I just wish that there was like more advice in the Bible on how to communicate with the single people. Like, I just hope this video helps some. Most single people are going to be completely, hate this video. They wouldn't even watch it through and through probably. But more of these realistic videos need to be put out there instead of just hope and hearts and flowers, and it's going to be great, and you're going to find somebody, it's going to be wonderful. That might not happen. Like, let's quit doing false hope. Let's stop it. Let's work with what we have. I mean, if you had somebody that was disabled in your life, you wouldn't just insist on talking to them every day about how they're going to get healed. That would get old. You pray for healing, and you work to get your health as good as you can get it, and then you learn how to function with what you have. And that's not always a bad thing. It's a good thing. Anyway, my weekend's going really good. I hope yours is too, and I'll talk with everybody later.